the second Sunday of the month, we take up an offering for the church. At this time, I'll ask Isaac to take it up.
Creighton.
Page 191. Ask everyone to stand for the offering, please.
Page 377.
Let's just do 56.
Sorry.
Anybody else have one?
Rusty, do we do 514?
We'll do this one for the last one, page 514. Ask everyone to stand and shake hands one with another, and after this, we're kind of over pressure. Page 514.
I'm bound for that city. I pray that each and every one of you is prepared to go to that city with me. Maybe not at the same time, but I pray that we'll all meet on that shore one day. Because that's what it's all about. I knew the moment I got saved, I was bound for that city. Right here on these steps. I got what I needed to make it to that shore one day. That wasn't the end of my time here on earth, though. There was things I've been given to do on this side of that shore. Before I get to that city, there's things I got to do. There's things that God tells me to do, things that He tells me to say, things that He tells me not to do or not to say. But I'm sure glad I'm bound for that city one day. But until I get there, I don't know how long it'll be. But I know the road's going to be a long road. I know it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of praying and crying and loving and everything else that you can throw in there. It's going to take a lot of it. If I had a thought one above another this morning, was how far are you willing to go? The younger you are when you get saved, the longer that journey is going to be. Sometimes the further you're going to have to go just to stay in that way. And you might think, well, some of them just didn't. They waited for a long time. I waited till I was 26. Trust me, I'd have much rather been a child when I done that. I missed out on a lot of life with God, a lot of life that with church folks and that of Christians that I could have had. I missed out on a lot in my life. It didn't do nothing but cause heartache, pain, suffering. Yeah, my road might have been a little shorter than some of them that got it before I did. But nonetheless, my road's been hard. My road's been tough. It's been full of pain and sorrow, just like anybody else's. But how far are you willing to go? I'm going to be in Genesis chapter 7. I'm going to start with the first verse in the chapter. And the Lord said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark. For thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. I'm just going to read that one verse. How far are you willing to go? Are you willing to let this old world look at you like a mockery? Are you willing to let this world look at you like you ain't nothing but crazy? Are you willing to let this world throw stones at you and talk down towards you? Noah was. I'm sure everybody around him thought, this man has lost it. He's building a boat. He's saying the world's going to flood. It ain't raining. There ain't nothing happening. There's so many gullies around here and valleys. The water's just going to run off and it's going to go down in there and it's going to go off into the ocean. What is wrong with this man? He's lost it. But Noah knew he had to go, he had to build this boat and give him dimensions. And I'd have to look it up in the back, the way they write it in here. It don't just come right to my mind how big it really is. But it's unimaginably big. Told him to use one certain wood, use gopher wood. He couldn't just go out and grab any tree. I don't know how far he had to travel to go get these logs for this boat. How far did he have to go to get this wood? How far did he have to go to convince his family that, no, this is what I'm going to do. Y'all are going to stand beside me. Y'all are going to stand and back me every step of the way. How many friends did he lose because he was just going to go as far as he had to go? How long did each trip, and I don't know how big around the logs were, maybe he had to go and get one log back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. All this time, how far was he having to go to do any step of this? He made everything by hand. The glue that binded it together, he made everything by hand. Cut the trees down, cut the limbs off, cut them where they'd stick together, flat, square. I don't know how he cut it. Maybe he just cut the top and bottom flat and stacked them on top of each other. I don't know. But he had to go a long way with this. And if you look through this Bible, everybody in here had a long trip, a long journey in their life. Everything was how far were they willing to go with everything. How far are we willing to go for God? How far are we willing to go to make it to that city? I'm willing to go as far as I got to go. As far as it takes me, I'm willing to go. I've learned that you can't just decide, well, that's too much, that's too far for me. Sometimes we feel inadequate, that we can't handle this task. We can't do this. I'm not smart enough, or whatever the case may be. Our inadequacies mean nothing. God knew us before we were formed in the womb. He wouldn't have chosen us for this task, whatever task it may be, if He didn't think we could do it. He knew us before we were formed in the womb. There ain't nothing that God tells us to do that we can't do with Him backing us. We keep Him up front. We keep Him in our prayers and in front of our minds on anything. We can accomplish it. Everybody thought Noah was going to fail. There's no doubt this is going to fail. He's doing all of this for no reason. What is wrong with this man? There wasn't nothing wrong with him. He was following what God told him to do, step by step, no matter what nobody thought. And what happened? When the rain started, what happened? Everybody thought, hold on now. This man might not be so crazy. This man might know exactly what he's doing. This whole time he might have known exactly what was going to happen. The earth started flooding. No doubt people from as far as you could imagine were running towards that boat. Too late. They didn't listen. They mocked the man that was following God. They mocked him. He went as far as he had to go, no matter what it cost him. No matter what it cost him, he went as far as he had to go to get that ship built. You know what it cost him? He got to keep his life. That's what it cost him. He got to keep his family. He got to prove everybody wrong. That no matter what happens, no matter what this world's going to tell you, no matter what, if you follow God, you can succeed. No matter what it is. And this world is going to look down upon us. This world is going to persecute us. This world is going to kick us when we're down. There's no doubt about it. This world is celebrating sin these days. This world is living in sin these days. to stay out of all that garbage? How far are we willing to go? Are we willing to show ourselves in front of the world that thinks we're foolish, that thinks we're crazy, that thinks we're doing nothing but wasting our time and energy? I don't care what this world thinks of me. I don't care what nobody thinks of me but Jesus. That's the one that matters. Now, I don't want people to think, well, he's supposed to be some kind of preacher, but he acts like this, or acts like that, or says this, or says that. Now, that part of what I want people to think about me is true. I do. I guess I need to back up. I do care what people think about me when they see me, when they talk to me, when they just converse with me, or whatever the case may be. I want them to know who I live for. That's the thing that is important. I live for Jesus. I don't live for this world. This world means nothing. It's Jesus that means everything. It's Jesus that gave us everything. God loved us. He gave His only begotten Son. Are you willing to go far enough to give your only begotten Son for everybody else in this world? God was. I'll be honest with you, it'd be real hard for me to give my only begotten Son for this world. I've lived in this world. I know what this world's about. I don't know that I could ever even honestly think about giving my Son for this world. God gave His only begotten Son. That whosoever means everybody. Not just deacons, not just preachers. Everybody. But we got to just follow Him. It's very simple. It's really not that hard. All we got to do is get ourselves out of the way. Do what He tells us to do. Don't worry about this world. Don't worry about what this world says. Don't worry about what this world does to try to stop you, because they can't stop you. When you got God, there is nothing that can stop you. Nothing. How far are you willing to go? Are you willing to go to jail over preaching the gospel, or talking about it, or just worshiping it? There's countries that you will be banished. You will be locked up. You can be murdered in countries in this world just for praising God. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were persecuted for worshiping God. They wasn't going to bow down to no statue. What happened to them? They were thrown into a pit of fire. Not a hair singed, not the smell of smoke nowhere on them. There was three in, they threw three in there, but they seen four in the midst. When this world gives you fires that you just can't handle, if you got God with you and you're doing what God wants you to do, that fire ain't going to harm you. You're going to go right through it. Now you might be scared. You might feel some heartache just because that's us. That's human. But we will make it through it. We will come out unscathed. You might be thrown in the den of lions, but you won't be eaten up. You go into this world without Jesus, without God, you're going to get eaten up. This world's too big, too strong, too mean for just little old me. There's nothing I can do with this world. But I know a guy that can. How far are you willing to go? What are you willing to sacrifice to make it to that city? I'm willing to sacrifice everything I am to make it there. Just so I can have a spot. I've got a spot. Do you have a spot? It's very simple. All we got to do is accept Jesus and we've got a spot in that city. It's very simple. We make everything difficult. Everything. We make it difficult. It's not that difficult. Y'all come get you a song. That's about as far as the Lord would have me go. But how far are we willing to go to satisfy Jesus? How far are we willing to go to accept that free pardon of sin? It's all been paid for. You ain't got to worry about the money this world costs, because everything costs is just so outrageous. You don't have that to worry about. All you got to do is accept Jesus in your heart. How far are you willing to go to get what God is freely given away? God bless you is my prayer today.
Page 489.
King gave him this armor, told him, you go out there and you're going to try this, you're going to die, but here's what we got. We fight with this armor, we fight with this sword. He laid it all down. He said, no, ain't going to work. It's not been proven. This world's going to trick you into thinking this will work, this will help, this will get you through. But if it ain't been proven through God himself, it ain't going to get you through. It ain't going to help you when the time comes and it comes down to it. If it ain't been proven through this Bible, through God's Word, through Jesus' Word and His helps and His works that He's done, if it ain't been proven through that, it is not going to help. I got nothing else this morning. I don't want to push it further than the Lord would have me push it. If anybody's got anything they'd like to say or do, then Lord have mercy, please do it.
And I like to say, I appreciate the message, and I hope I'm willing to always go all the way with Jesus. You know, Noah stayed the course. He didn't falter. The verse right before what you read said he did everything God commanded. And I just pray I'll always stay close enough to hear him and to walk that course because I can't do it without him.
Bless the Lord.
I just want y'all to pray for my wife. She hasn't been doing too good, and y'all can pray for my mom. Last Monday, she didn't eat, taking her medication, so she was puking, so she knows she's gotta eat something. And today is my nephew's 18th birthday, I can't believe it.
If nobody else has got anything, I don't, I just, like I said, I don't wanna push it further than the Lord would have me push it. If nobody's got anything, let's just raise our hands to the sky and thank the good Lord for the day.